Well, I'm Jeff Mathews. I'm a local rheumatologist here in Provo, Utah. I'm triple boarded in internal medicine, rheumatology, and emergency medicine, and have been in continuous practice for the last 35 years. We have a large, busy practice. I have 2 mid-level employees that are nurse practitioners, and we're always looking for another partner should one come available. We visited the Arthritis clinic in Boise and had a very nice time with the rheumatologist there, but what struck me was how well the office was run. It seemed to be organized, the employees seemed to be very happy. I had a couple of interactions with the office manager there, Dan Truby, and I remember coming away on at least a couple of occasions thinking, I wish our office had that efficiency, that good morale of employees, and that someone as knowledgeable as Dan Truby was in charge of the things that I don't have any understanding of. When I learned that the office manager in Idaho worked for a larger management group, I reached out to them, MedMan, and asked if they would come down, evaluate our practice, give me some recommendations. When I spoke to Jim, the president of the group, he said they had several things to offer. They could come and look at the practice and make recommendations. They could come help implement recommendations, or at a higher level, they could come and basically manage our practice. My initial intent was to have them come down and just present some things that were obvious to them. And I have to admit, I was a little surprised to find out how many things we were not doing very well. What I enjoyed most was after a team approach of evaluating our practice from financial, business, HIPAA compliance, as well as interviewing employees as to how happy they were they qualified, and how did we structure our practice when we had turnover of employees, that there was not very many areas after 35 years that we didn't need improvement on. So we had a nice presentation after about 3 days where the 3 or 4 folks that came down who were ultimately very qualified, all of them had business backgrounds, health management backgrounds, on a master's or a PhD level even, and yet were in touch with the usual everyday practice and could present to me in a meeting the things that I was interested in. Where were we compliant? Where were we not compliant? Had we considered growing the practice? Did we have a plan in place to market? All of which the answers were mostly no, from my part, which I was sad to say. But in a very pleasant way, they outlined some ways that those things could be improved. And as we talked further on, it became clear to me that a practice like this, with 10 or 15 employees and tens of thousands of patients, that has been somewhat on its own for a number of years, really was in need of some outside fresh help. And so, to make a long story short, I elected to ask the medical management team, known as MedMan, to actually take over the practice. I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to make my life better. I'm going to enjoy the practice of medicine more. I'll be even less involved with the business end of the practice, which is what I've always wanted in the first place. Mostly because doctors, as a general rule, it's tough to do 16 years of medical training and then tack on 5 years of business training and health management training. And I don't know another physician that has ever done that.